Welcome, Aquarius and Aquarius Cross Watchers, to your reading for this week. Hope you guys are having a good week. So we have the Queen of Wands here. Whoops. And the King of Pentacles. Oh, something fell apart. I feel like Aquarius, I feel like somebody just pulled the rug out from underneath you. It feels like something that is pretty earth shaking in your world. It feels like somebody really, I don't even want to say this, somebody really made a fool out of you. And that's not to say that you are a fool, but it's like either they were messing around or they somehow have, like they've spent all the money or like something significant, and it feels like it's like a gut punch. I feel like to a certain extent you didn't ever really see this person as like a King of Pentacles necessarily, but you certainly didn't think that they would mess up this bad. And it's almost like there's this energy of not wanting to be like guilty by association. No, that's not it. You may feel that someone is guilty by association here. Listen, it's not to say that, Aquarius thinks they're coming out smelling like a rose or whatever, but I don't really feel like you have any, culpability in whatever this is that's happened. You know what I'm saying? Like you weren't involved, you didn't play a part in it. It just kind of happened right in front of you. For some of you, if it didn't happen to you directly, it's like you may have seen a couple get into a huge fight and their whole marriage fall apart in front of you. It's that type of like, what the holy cow? Like it's kind of a big deal. Ah, that's just me not knowing how to shuffle. That was like 12 cards. All right. What's going on in Aquarius's headspace up here? It feels like it's like if it was something to do with your partner or something to do with, another couple or whatever it was, it feels like it's close. It's close to the chest. So if it was your partner, that's obvious. If it was a couple, I feel like you're either good friends with them or whatever the case may be. You have a close enough connection to this that it is heartbreaking. And it's almost like you kind of can't really think about anything else. It feels like it's just so big. I feel like the easiest way to kind of shake yourself out of that energy, or the way that you do, is that you realize you're actually not that close to it. Whoops, I was going to say your heart really goes out to somebody here. So we have the Knight of Swords at the bottom. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles and the... Here's the thing. So, well, whoever this King of Pentacles or whatever it is kind of happening in the back, or not in the background, but right in front of your face. I actually feel like there are a couple of... if it is a romantic situation, there's a couple of interested parties that are making their way to you. I feel like somebody wants to, like, one of the options, they might kind of see themselves as a bigger deal than they are, if that makes sense. So it could be somebody that, like, maybe they talk all the time about how they're, all over social media and they're this and they're that and they're a big deal and all that type of stuff. And they may genuinely feel that way. You know, sometimes that comes from a place of insecurity, but I feel like this person might just be kind of blinded to, um, it feels like they genuinely don't realize that that may not be the case, that they may, like, you know, whatever it is that they have, however many followers they have or whatever, it's not that big, if you will. And I feel like this is somebody that may be disconnected from reality in that sense, because it doesn't really feel like they're going to get it down the road. And now to the Knight of Pentacles. This person is not happy on your behalf. They are pissed. And now I don't normally, you know, swear, so I apologize for that. But that word came through pretty clearly. They are not happy. I feel like whatever this person took from you, or however they kind of pulled the rug out from underneath you, I feel like this person is coming in to be like, no, 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 don't pay any attention to that. Not that you can't, but you know what I'm saying. It's like they seem to want to come in and fill the gap, but this seems to be someone that's really humble, because they're not coming in thinking they can fill the whole gap. They're just coming in with this energy of like, part of them wants to kind of help you or take care of you. And I feel like the bigger drive is this like angry, vehement rage of wanting to teach this person a lesson. Like I'm hearing the, you know, PISSED word again. Like they're so, I feel like part of them is like a little bit surprised at how strong this feeling is for them, but how strongly they feel about wanting to come in and give this person, you know, a what for, if you will. They're pretty disgusted by this person. I feel like, you know what? It feels like this Knight of Pentacles. They didn't ever look up to this person. I feel like people may have compared them to this person, but they knew. Like it's like this person, the Knight of Pentacles, knew the whole time that the king was fake. Like it's just like the way that they spoke about things, the way they explained things, how they acted. It didn't have the right attitude about it, in that it was a telltale sign to this knight that the king wasn't really doing whatever they were supposed to do. This knight, it's like they were kind of waiting for the King of Pentacles to mess up, and not that they were like genuinely waiting, but they knew it was coming one way or another, because they just had, it's like just this total disgust, absolutely no use for them. It's like, it's one thing to be a POS. It's another thing to be a POS and try to tell everybody that you're great, that you're wonderful, that you're awesome. They seem to, I feel like this Knight of Pentacles has this very hard and fast rule. Like it's immovable. It is non-negotiable that the people around them are exactly who they say they are. They have a real problem with people putting on a front. I feel like sometimes that may make this person, the Knight of Pentacles, come across with this energy of like they're a little too forceful, a little too like, it may feel a little bit controlling to people at times. It does not feel that way to this person, because they feel like they're kind of like they're the ones that have the nerve to get into bad situations and set things right. They feel like that's kind of their lot in life. They do feel a lot more compassion towards you than they would to the average person. Because they're looking at the situation like, you did not deserve what just happened to you. It's almost this energy of like, you have been nothing but kind and loving and caring towards this partner. And I feel like they know that you swept some things under the rug that you were uncomfortable with. It's the energy of like, if ever you have had somebody step outside the relationship or do something that betrayed your trust. Oftentimes it doesn't just happen. You can kind of feel something, right? It's like some things seem a little bit off. This seems weird, but you kind of brush it. It's like, oh, I'm probably making a mountain out of a molehill sort of thing. And I feel like they know that you did that. They know that you gave this person every possible chance that you could. And then they turn around and it's like, it's just a smack in the face. I'm sorry. I am. That this is what's going on. So we have the Nine of Wands there. I feel like and then we have the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom again. I feel like a big part of this here is you feel like with all of this happening, you may have told other people that this King of Pentacles was good, like a good person, or, was going to do right by them or whatever. And it's like, and you feel like you've let other people down as well because they were invested in this person. This person meant a lot to them as well. So it's like you're carrying the weight of this devastation in your own heart, but you're also carrying the weight of knowing what this is going to do to the people around you. There's this energy of like, oh, I let everybody down. Somebody warned you. Somebody, I feel like they're pretty disconnected from you. It does not feel like it's the same person as this Knight of Pentacles, but it feels like it's the same type of energy. I feel like whoever this is actually seems to be pretty far removed from you at this point. It's the type of energy where it may not be the actual situation, but this is the energetics of it. It's like you were in a relationship with somebody, a friend, or it feels like a family member, like a cousin or something, may have said to you, like, this is not good. You're not being treated properly. Something is off. Like they tried to give you a heads up. And I feel like you didn't believe them for whatever reason. And it caused kind of a rift between the two of you. I feel like from their perspective, after they did that, you always seemed kind of mad. You always seemed like a little bit dismissive. And I feel like in addition to all of this other sorrow that you're carrying, you're also looking at it like, and I did that. And I feel like there's a message here. If this has just happened, which I feel like it has, it's okay to not really know how you're feeling, to feel all out of sorts, because this is really big. And so I feel like there's a bit of a message here to just take one heartbreak at a time in that. I'm doing this because like, I don't know how well but I don't know how well I would be able to do this if I was faced with something like this. Like, try not to dwell on everything that you've done wrong and how you feel that you have wronged other people. I feel like it may be a little bit easier to focus on this thing here, because I feel like until this is dealt with, all of that other guilt is just going to keep piling on. It's like you're not going to be able to forgive yourself for all that small, but smaller stuff. And until, like, it's not going to be forgiveness that holds until you deal with this thing. So it's almost like, let me ask you something here, Aquarius. Is it possible that I feel like at first you're thinking about like, oh, this is hurting other people and so on and so forth. You're doing that out of like shock and compassion. And I feel like there may be times where you prefer to think about that than to think about your own pain. Because it feels really devastating. It feels like, I feel like you may be feeling like you're just trying not to fall apart. And depending on where you are, and if you're able to, you know, sometimes falling apart is kind of what you need. It's that, you know, that ugly cry where you're sobbing and it's, you know, Kleenex boxes and it's not, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look nice, and it does not feel good. I feel like you know that that might be coming, that moment where you hit your limit, you know, in terms of like you hit your limit that you can't put on a mask anymore. So I feel like if that's where you're at right now, if you want to go and take the mask off, you know, when you're by yourself, you're more comfortable that way. However you need to do it. It's like the only way to be able to continue to wear that mask if and when you have to. You know, let's say if you're at work or something and you have to be professional, is by taking it off when you can and letting yourself feel bad. This is a crappy situation, and it's like, it's one of those things where like something would be wrong if you didn't feel bad. I almost want to say like, I feel like you're handling it a lot better than you think. You may feel like you are upset all the time or you're crying all the time. That is not what other people are seeing at all. You are definitely hiding it better than you think. I feel like there's this message here where you seem to feel like you have to do it all alone. But there's this little reminder here that you don't. And not even in the cards or this reading, it feels like, well, that's what I'm seeing in the cards, but it's not like a message to you. It's something that you already know, that you can feel. It's this energy of like, once it happened, it's almost like you kind of knew one way or another something was going to happen. Not this big, not this hard, but you knew something was coming. And I feel like there's like, that seems to be the first step in the right direction for you, is seeing that like you were shocked, right? Of course. But it's almost like if it was a complete shock and you didn't see anything, you didn't pick up on anything, I feel like that would have been harder to deal with because you would have been, you know, it's like a sucker punch almost. And I feel like the more you think, like once some of the emotional, you know, the hurt settles down a little bit, which may take some time, or maybe even the middle of doing that work, I feel like the more you start to see the signs that this person was being a doofus, we'll say, so I'm trying not to swear. I would have some choice words otherwise, but I digress. So I feel like as you're going through like a lot of this emotional trauma, essentially, I feel like when you have those aha moments where you're like, oh, I see what that meant. I see that, you know, either I wasn't willing to admit something to myself, or this means that. It's like, as you're sorting out some of these pieces in your mind, I feel like that seems to take off the load of this emotional heaviness. It just feels like most of the time you're trying not to think about it. So if you're in a place where like you, for whatever reason, because maybe you're at work or you're this or you're that, and you can't process the emotions there, right? So I feel like it's not wrong to allow yourself to think about this stuff when in the right time and place, because I feel like as you have those aha moments, you're going to see these opportunities for like where you could have pivoted. And I feel like that seems to put you back in the driver's seat. That makes you feel like, okay, well, I could have done this, and I could have done, and this would have happened. And let me be really clear. That's not to say that if you had made a different choice, this person wouldn't have been a gigantic but whole. However, it does mean that it's like there are ways, there are things that you can do, there are like lessons that you can learn here so that this doesn't happen again. And I feel like that seems to be the key to you feeling like you're back in control of your own life, feeling like you're stepping back into feeling like yourself. So I think I'll leave it there, Aquarius. I love you guys. I hope you have a better rest of your day. And we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.